Hello, everybody. I am here with the one and only Mr. Rodney Johnson. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm glad to be here, man. This is dope.
It's good to see you, brother. It's
Likewise.
good to see you, man.
Likewise, man, for sure. It's been a minute.
Yeah, everything okay at family? Everything okay at home?
Yeah, man. Everything's good. No complaints. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's strong. We got a house over our head, good food to eat. No complaints. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's a blessing.
For sure.
That's a blessing.
For sure. What's up with you, man? How you feeling?
You know, I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning. I finally got to clean my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Feel good to kind of just clean my space and, you know, less clutter, more clarity. And
is that therapeutic for you? Like just cleaning the clutter and everything?
In a way, yes.
Yeah. Because it's not for me.
Oh, no. Well, it could also be the Hispanic in me.
I got you. I got you.
Saturday mornings, waking up early in the morning to loud music, salsa, just all kinds of stuff, and then being forced to help out.
Yeah. You know? That's hilarious.
But interestingly enough, now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of like my first, I guess, representation of community. You know, if we all kind of pitch in and work together, we can get done quicker.
Yeah, man. And you learn a lot about yourself too. You know what I'm saying? In that community, learning what you are and what you're not. You know what I'm saying? What you're good at, what you suck at, all those things.
Pretty much, yeah. Because they'll let you know
quickly, and you need it. You know what I'm saying?
You need it.
Yeah, for sure.
You need it
for that development, man. That's major. It's not always comfortable, but it's helpful.
Yeah, that's a good segue. How do you deal with when you get, I guess, negative feedback, or when you get an undesired consequence? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, bro. Like I am definitely an overthinker. You know what I'm saying? I'm over analytical. I think about everything way too much. Sometimes to my detriment, but that's just kind of my makeup. That's who I am. Okay. And so whenever I'm presented with, I don't know, a negative consequence or an outcome that wasn't ideal, you know what I'm saying? I kind of think about it and reverse engineer it and ask myself, okay, why did this happen? What could I have done differently? Should I take this personal? Should I not? And if it's something that is like just groundbreaking or just kind of like tearing me apart, sit in it for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's healthy to sit in it and kind of feel that pain or feel whatever comes with it.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's okay to kind of feel, you know what I mean? As men, sometimes we kind of taught to like let things kind of, brush things off. Don't let nothing hurt you. Be hard, be tough, this, that, and the other. But anybody that knows me for real knows that like I'm an emotional person, and I'm not ashamed to say it. And I think that it's okay to feel those things, feel the regret, feel the embarrassment, the insecurity, whatever it is, but only feel it for so long. You know what I'm saying?
That's key.
Yeah, and pick yourself up, figure out how to have it serve you rather than you serving it. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is like, how can I learn from this? How can I use this to my advantage so that the next time something like this comes around, I'll know what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. And also, how can I help somebody else with it too? I'm a firm believer that like whatever we deal with in life is not just like for us. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a really selfish way of living. But like whatever you deal with, whether it's a really, really great successful venture or something that you just utterly failed at, how can you take that story, wrap it up, package it, and give it to somebody else so that whenever they are in your shoes, inevitably, you can be able to kind of help them and coach them through it, because that's what life should be all about.
I was going to ask, do you think is that a duty?
Is it a duty? I think it should be. It should be.
Why?
Well, because I think that if we are, regardless of like where you come from, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of where you were born or your family makeup or this, that, and the other, the very one thing that we all have in common is that we're human beings, right? That we exist on this ancient rock called planet Earth, that we coined it as. And I think the one thing that we can all say is that we all are in life together, right? I do think that it's our responsibility to want to pull somebody up. You know what I'm saying? I think that life is too short to tear people down. Life is too short to feed on someone else's failure. But it's like, it should be, to your point, it should be our duty to pull somebody else up, to want to see somebody else succeed. And if I'm somebody that can help you do that, if I'm somebody that can at least put you on the path to help you go further than me, if that's the case, why not? That only creates a better world. That creates a better space, a better community, a better home. I got kids, man. What kind of world am I going to create for my kids to live in? You know what I'm saying? And I think the best way to do that is by helping somebody else in any way that I can.
Do you think that's kind of intensified now that you've become a father?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. One of my favorite filmmakers, Ryan Coogler, he said whenever he had his first kid, it was like seeing life in color for the first time. Like before you have children, it's like you're living life in black and white, but that's all that you know. You don't know that there can be color in your life. And then all of a sudden you have a child that you love more than anything. It's a different type of love. And like people have love for like their pets and their animals, and no shade to animal lovers.
Dog mom.
Yeah, man, no shade to the cat ladies. You know what I'm saying? But it's something about like having a child of your own, and that forces you to look at life differently. It forces you to look at yourself differently. And if you are, any sort of decent father or mother, you want to see your child succeed. You want to see your child loved, and that means you changing. That means you adapting. That means you failing. That mean, you know what I mean? It's a daily process. And yeah, bro, like I definitely became a different person once my kids started to grow up and have conversations with me and ask me questions that I wasn't ready to answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I'm self-employed, like I have my own business and everything. And so like, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I put food on the table, because they can't feed themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it definitely forces you to move differently, have a bit more of a hunger, you know what I'm saying, metaphorically and physically. I definitely gained some weight after I had my kids, that's for sure.
Muscle, right? All muscle.
I wish, dog.
Come on, man.
I wish. I'm in the gym.
You got to give me something to look forward to.
I know, bro. I know. Hey, but that's another thing though, man. Like it definitely forces you to have a different level of discipline too. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm sure.
You have to, bro.
I'm sure.
It's really, really difficult to be a provider, be a protector, be a loving father, also be a business owner, also be a leader in my community, at my church, also to keep myself fit, to remember to feed myself, to remember to take care of my mental, my physical, my spiritual, like all these things take a certain level of discipline. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'm doing great and sometimes I'm not, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just all kind of a part of life, bro. So like, yeah, I definitely have a little bit of a dad gut now, but like I'm back in the gym and, I'm lifting and I'm feeling good. I'm healthier now than I ever have been before. I'm stronger than I ever have been before. Yeah, man. But I have to attribute that to just living life as a father, as a husband, being a family man, and, just making it do what it do. You know what I'm saying?
So you mentioned your discipline has to change, and you also put an emphasis on failure, needing to fail. I want to ask you, how do you measure the margin of error for a father? Because as men, we're programmed to take risk. We're programmed to have fun. We're programmed to sometimes just not really plan. And I'm not saying be impulsive from like a hollow head standpoint, but just that gut feeling of I'm going for it, that risk taking. How do you measure that margin of error for men that are going to fail?
I think that's a subjective question that requires a subjective answer. I think every man has to measure it according to his own stature. I think for me, like I mentioned before, like I'm an overthinker. Like I overthink every single decision that I make. The reason why I think that I do that, especially now, is because I do have people dependent on me. So if I make a move, if I make a shift, whether it's financially or whatever it is, or like in my career, like I have to weigh, just like any responsible, I think, adult or human being, before you make any sort of investment, you got to weigh the pros and the cons. You got to weigh, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of those things before you really feel good moving forward. So I think that for me, I think that it's important to the best way that I can say it is I look at every single outcome that I possibly can, and if things work out the way that I want to, fantastic. If they don't, that's also fantastic, because if it doesn't work out the way that I hoped, you can't be afraid to fail. One of my favorite poems is called Test of a Man. You know what I'm saying? And it's the fight that he makes, the grit that he daily shows, the way he stands on his feet, taking life's numerous bumps and blows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like not being afraid to fail is I think paramount, and it's really critical to developing who you are as a man, as a leader, as a father, as a husband, whatever capacity that you serve in. You can't be afraid to fail, but you also can't be afraid to make a first choice. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it did. And then some, and then some. How do you think one goes about conquering fear?
That's a really good question. Man, you got great questions for me.
Or in what way, to make it specific, in what way have you conquered some of your fears?
I think for me, it's been my support system around me.
I love that answer.
You know, like for
community,
real, bro.
just
yeah,
like we
man.
were going up. Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. Like I've been really, really blessed, and I don't use that term lightly. I think that term can become sort of a cliched vernacular, but like, I really, really have been blessed. Shout out to my wife, Alicia. She like encourages me so many different ways. Like just even within this new phase of my life, just kind of doing things differently in my career and kind of expanding and not being like, I'm not an overzealous type of guy. Like I wish that I was the type of dude to just be like, just go gung ho and everything. But again, like I have to map things out the best that I can before I move forward. But she's been a huge motivator and huge encourager for me. And especially some of my closest friends, closest brothers that have just encouraged me and like really like bolstered who I am, and to believe that like, hey, I can do this, you know? And then also understanding, bro, like fear is a good thing, I think. Like, again, don't be afraid to feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid to feel, but ask yourself the questions like, why am I afraid of this? What is it that is keeping me from moving forward to whatever it is that I believe I'm supposed to be doing right now, right? Like, fear is a natural part of life. Like, fear is something that is within our DNA that's developed from kids. Like, we learn through fear. We learn, like, not to touch the stove, even though it may be curious, even though it may be, you know, attractive, but like, you know, we have to learn like what it is. And fear is a mechanism that's in our brains to keep us sometimes from jumping off of buildings or this, that, and the other. There's something that's intrinsic in that. So like, I do think that certain level of fear, now that's not the same for everybody, because some people unfortunately do that. But like, I do think that it's important to understand that fear is there for a reason, but it can't be something that cripples you from forward progress. You know what I mean?
And I love the bow you tied at the end there. I have a different perspective of fear.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity to visit Holland last summer.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't my first time in Europe. I've been to Spain before.
Okay.
I'm hoping Spain counts as Europe, or
maybe
they're on their own.
Yeah.
Maybe they're their own, you know.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family in Spain. That's
sure.
fine.
Okay.
But just literally feeling like I'm on a different world, literally feeling like this place operates differently, and got to visit my cousins. They showed me a lot. I met a lot of people, got to eat a lot of good food. But what I'm wanting to highlight with that is in me going to Europe for the first time, solo trip by myself, without a ticket.
Yeah. That's major.
You know, hey, I'm going, cousins. Can we do this? And we went to the first night there, we went to like this Latin place because I just wanted to see what the Latin scene was up there.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing like people dancing, and one of my fears is actually going to dance like salsa dancing.
Really? Okay.
Just because I don't know how to dance salsa.
Okay.
But there was a moment where I was going to approach a young woman there, and I was just like, nah, maybe some other time. And then my cousin tells me at the end of the night, because that stuck with me, that I froze. You know, I froze. Something about that fear of the unknown paralyzed me. And I'll never forget the words my cousin said to me. He said, you know what's on the other side of fear? Freedom.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Freedom.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So my first night in Holland, fearful.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I don't like that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the outlook.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to change.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be someone who still, goes in things with caution. So goes in things calculated as best as possible.
Yep.
But just learning to just metaphorically bite down and just go for it.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm learning a lot within martial arts, I do kickboxing and Muay Thai, is that sometimes your biggest threat is, the biggest battle is the one in between your eyes.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I just have the room reserved for 3 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Is it 3 o'clock
Oh,
already?
yeah, it's 3:02.
Can we get like 5 minutes? Just one last call. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, conversation was going good, man. Damn. And, that's what we deal with. We got to pivot. Last question for you, Rodney. And again, thank you again for your time. Thank you again for your Sunday. You know what? I don't want to ask that question. I'm going to ask another question.
Okay.
What's one piece of advice that changed your life?
Man, that's a great question. Okay, so I'm gonna say this, man. This may not be everybody's, I don't know, slice of pie or whatever, however you want to say it. But anybody that knows me knows that my faith is very important to me. And so one thing that Jesus said was in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. He says, "Seek first the kingdom; all these things shall be added." What that means for me is that in my life, for my family, for what I want to do in life, the very first thing that I need to do is to seek to find God, seek to find meaning of who I am, and find what I believe Jesus wants from my life. And everything he said before that was, we're worried about what we're going to eat, worried about what we're going to wear, worried about how we're going to provide for this, that, and the other, how we're going to take care of this, that, and the other. And he says, it's a bar, bro. He says, like, look at the grass that's here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow. Look at the flowers of the field and how beautiful they are. But you're much more valuable to God than all these things. So, like, worry about what God wants you to do first, and then he'll take care of all this other stuff. All this other stuff is all these other things are bonuses if you can do this thing first. And I kid you not, bro. Like, I've heard that all throughout my life, but the older I got, the more that meant so much more to me as I became a husband, as I became a man, as I became a father, as I became a provider, as I became a business owner, just moving into different phases of my life. What does my life look like now? And I had to make that a matter of prayer. And I kid you not, so many things just started to fall in place for me. And I didn't have to worry about so many things. Like, my kids are taken care of. My kids are good. I have a loving, beautiful wife. Okay. And I can only attribute that to my relationship with God and being the best person I can be, the best man that I can be, treating people right, even though that may not always be given back in return.
Reciprocated.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I believe that that's what God has for me. And if I continue to do that, then I believe that he'll take care of all the other stuff and more. And so I think for me, that's been the best piece of advice for lately, for sure.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, man.
Well, my brother, I think that about wraps our time.
Yeah.
Thank you again for giving me your time and
anytime, bro.
The little seeds of knowledge and wisdom that you have for us here. Man, just good seeing you, brother. It's just good seeing you, brother. And I look forward to the future success.
Definitely appreciate
of your personal, professional development.
Appreciate it. Likewise, bro. Let's do it again. I'm around.
Let's
you
do
got
it.
my number?
Let's do it. Let's do it, brother.
Sure.
Let's do it, brother.
Appreciate
Thank you again, bro.